You are standing at the edge of one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. All around you, stretched dry, barren mesas, cracked and thirsty. In the distance, a few scraggly bushes cling to life, and the sky, it seems, is determined to melt the very ground beneath your feet. In the face of such harsh conditions, what could possibly flourish here? A harsh land, and yet the very thing that makes this place so unforgiving is also its saving grace. For here where there is little shade, the sun beats down with relentless intensity. But this intense sunlight is captured by the very stones beneath your feet, charged with energy and held in reserve for those who know how to access it. This is the power of the sun, the lifeblood of this arid land. It's an energy source just waiting to be tapped into. And it's no surprise then that in this place, homes are built from stone, durable and long-lasting, some standing the test of time for centuries. These homes, they may seem like relics of a bygone era, but they were built by people just like us, ordinary folk who had to make extraordinary choices in order to survive. They had to build their homes differently because the very essence of their existence demanded it. These aren't just houses, they're testaments to human resilience. If you can imagine growing crops and raising livestock under such punishing conditions, you might be wondering who would willingly live in such a place. But if we dig deeper, we find that where there's life, there's a way, even in the most desolate of landscapes. This wasn't just a desert, this was home. Welcome to my channel. Join me as we explore the secrets of these ancient dwellings and uncover the stories of those who dared to call this harsh land home. When you think of building a house, you probably picture rolling hills, tall trees, and a gentle stream nearby, maybe even a view of a glistening ocean. But when you come to this place, the concept of a house itself seems like a luxury. So let's talk about the essentials. What makes a dwelling a house? Is it the materials used, the design, or the spirit of the people who lived there? These homes were made from the very fabric of the earth, stones laid carefully one by one to create a shelter against the elements. They weren't just thrown together. Each rock monolith stood as a testament to the ingenuity and patience of the builders. Imagine spending years painstakingly cutting, shaping, and moving each stone. Then picture the mental fortitude required to sustain yourself and your family through months of backbreaking labor. These homes weren't built in a day, but they also weren't destined to crumble at the first sign of trouble. They were constructed to last. But there's more to a house than just the structure. It's a place where families grew, memories were made, and lives were sustained. You can almost feel the echoes of laughter and hear the murmur of voices as you walk through these rooms. Even though they've been silent for centuries, these homes weren't just shelters, they were sanctuaries. Imagine waking up before sunrise, the cool morning air a welcome respite from the coming heat. As the sun climbs higher, the thick stone walls keep the interior cool, allowing you to sleep in while the rest of the world wakes up to unbearable temperatures. Then, as the evening brings a drop in temperatures, the same thick walls absorb the day's heat, providing a comfortable living space as the stars begin to shine. These homes weren't just well designed, they were like. Now, take a moment to look at the landscape surrounding these homes. You're in a place where water is scarce and the terrain seems unrelenting. But let's shift our perspective. Let's look at the challenges of this landscape through the eyes of the ancestral Puebloans. What seemed insurmountable to them? What did they see as a blessing? The ancestral Puebloans, also known as the Anasazi, thrived in this region for centuries. Despite the challenges posed by the environment, they built their homes here because this was their ancestral land. Their connection to this place ran deep in their history and culture. It was where their ancestors had lived and where they, in turn, raised their children. The Hopi and the Zuni, their descendants, still live in the area today, keeping the traditions and values of their ancestors alive. The Hopi in particular have a deep reverence for the land, seeing it as a living entity that sustains them. They believe that everything in nature has a life force, including the rocks and soil that surround them. This belief system shaped their relationship with the environment, influencing how they built their homes and lived their lives. For the ancestral Puebloans, the landscape held both challenges and opportunities. They saw the cliffs and mesas as natural structures that could be used for protection and farming. The Hopi, for example, adapted to the dry climate by growing crops that required less water, such as corn, beans, and squash. They also developed sophisticated irrigation systems to distribute water from the rare but crucial rains throughout their fields. The ancestral Puebloans were also aware of the healing properties of the plants around them. They used herbs and minerals to treat illnesses and injuries, drawing on the knowledge passed down from previous generations. They also recognized the importance of the stars and the cycles of the natural world. developing calendars and agricultural practices that aligned with the seasons and celestial patterns. What we might see as a harsh and unforgiving landscape, the ancestral Puebloans saw as a place of beauty and potential. They understood the rhythms of the land and learned to live in harmony with it, turning what could have been obstacles into integral parts of their daily lives. So what led to the decline of the ancestral Puebloan civilization? There isn't a single answer, but several factors likely contributed to their departure from this land they called home. Environmental changes, including prolonged droughts, may have played a significant role. Archaeological evidence suggests that the region experienced a shift in climate around the year 1280, leading to a decline in agricultural production and putting stress on the food supply. This environmental pressure forced the ancestral Puebloans to seek new homes where resources were more abundant. Another contributing factor was the introduction of foreign diseases. When Europeans arrived in the Americas, they brought with them diseases to which the indigenous populations had no immunity. Smallpox, measles, and other illnesses swept through Native American communities, causing widespread death and weakening the social structures that had sustained them for centuries. The ancestral Puebloans weren't the only ones to leave. Many other indigenous groups across the continent were decimated by these diseases, which also had a profound impact on the cultural landscape. But it's essential to remember that the story of the ancestral Puebloans doesn't end here. While they may have abandoned their homes in the Four Corners region, their legacy lived on through their descendants, the Hopi and the Zuni. These two tribes continued the traditions and cultural practices of their ancestors, ensuring that their story wasn't lost to time. The Hopi in particular have preserved their language, religion, and artistic traditions for generations, adapting and evolving them to fit the changing world around them. Their ongoing presence in the area is a testament to their resilience and adaptability in the face of immense challenges. As you stand among the ruins of these ancient homes, take a moment to appreciate the strength and ingenuity of the ancestral. Their ability to thrive in such a harsh environment for so long is a remarkable feat, and their legacy, carried on by the Hopi and the Zuni, continues to shape the cultural landscape of the Four Corners region. Their story reminds us that even in the most challenging of circumstances, life finds a way to not only survive but also to thrive. So as you explore the rugged beauty of the Four Corners and the remnants of the ancestral Puebloan civilization, let their story inspire you to find strength and resilience within yourself. Who knows, you might just discover that you, too, have the ability to turn any environment into a home.